Okay, so today I'm gonna solve or try to solve this Codewars problem. I'm gonna spend 2 hours here, I think. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to solve it because I don't know how hard it is, but I'm gonna try it. So range extraction. A format for expressing an ordered list of integers is choose a comma separated list of either individual integers or a range of integers denoted by the starting integer separated from the end integer, the range by a dash. The range includes all integers in the interval, including both endpoints. It does not consider a range unless it spans at least 3 numbers, for example, 12, 13, 15, 17. Complete the solution so that it takes a list of integers in increasing order and returns a correctly formatted string in the range format. So I'm not sure. I think what I'm supposed to do is transform this into a string. Transform this list here into a string with this format. But I'm not sure if I get the logic. So I think every 3 numbers I have to check probably. Let's see here, -6, -3, -2. So it checks the 6, -3, -2, -1. And then here it probably goes -3, -1. Right here, 3 to 5. Oh, so I think I get it. So if the numbers aren't connected and they are less than 3, so it's basically gonna cut the thing from 3 to 3. But then why -6 is here? I don't get why -6 is here, and then here it doesn't show 0 and 1. So -3 to -1, and then 3 to 5, which is this part here. Then 7 to 11. 14, 15. So why does the 0 and 1 doesn't show up there? Doesn't make sense. -3, -2. Oh, I get it. So here it goes from -3 to 1. And the dash is just because here there's a negative and then there's 2 dashes. I think I get it now. So it's pretty easy actually. Well, at least it seems like it is easy. It's probably hard. But I think what I have to do is divide the thing by 3. See, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. I think they're all gonna be divisible by 3. Or maybe not, actually. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, maybe not. But I need to check in ranges of 3. So the first thing that comes to my mind is the solution from the other problem is in sets, and for another Codewars problem, which I can create a range from 3, and then I can create a set and see if the set length is equal to the number. Yeah, but the problem is I would have to create 2 ranges. Because I think on the other problem, it was from the beginning number into the end number. And this one, there's one number in the middle. So the number in the middle may not be necessarily sequence. So I need to make sure that it's exactly 3. Let me think. And also creating a set is probably not the best, because if they're repeating numbers, then it doesn't make sense. So let me think. What is the best way to check if there is a sequence? I think the formatting part is probably easy. All I have to do is create an if statement and then do string formatting. Or actually, the negatives and positives might be difficult as well. So how can I do this? Okay. I think what I'm gonna do is create a list of lists and then append, I can create a list of 3 indexes and then append this list is into another list and then flatten the list later, but I'm not sure if that's the best. Oh, actually, I don't need to flatten the list because I want to get a string and not the numbers. Or maybe we can just make in range, actually. It's probably better. Because then I can do steps of 3. Denoted by the starting integer separated from the end integer. Is 0 length args 3. Actually, I think now that I think about it, I can make a variable args I plus 1. And then if this variable is 3, and the only thing is the negative numbers. Starting integer separated from the end integer. The range includes all integers in the interval, including both endpoints. It is not considered a range unless it spans at least 3 numbers. Complete the solution so that it takes a list of integers in increasing order. Takes a list of integers in increasing order and returns a correctly formatted string in the range format. Oh, so I need to sort the list first. Oh no, it's gonna take the list of integers in increasing order, so I don't think I need to sort it. Yeah, but well, I can just make absolute actually. So if absolute count is equals to 3, I do something, and then else I do other thing. So if one of them is negative and the sum of them is 3, oh, actually, that doesn't make sense. I would say that it means all of them have to be negative, but that's not necessarily the case. And also, this way is not gonna work, I think, because they have to be one apart from the other one. So the key thing that I'm missing here is distance. How can I say distance from one number to the other? I think I'm gonna look this up. Because if I could check if the distance is bigger or lower than. And then I don't want to check to see if it's. Let me think. I can do this making a bunch of checks, but I'm trying to think about a way that is more concise and that I don't need to do a bunch of if else statements to check for the value of numbers. But I think pretty much it doesn't seem to be that this hard actually. You just check the distance and then after checking if they're close together, then you create the formatting and you add that formatting, you add that string into the result final string. So it's not that hard. Maybe range actually works. Or distance in Python. Maybe I can do if range args I plus 1 equals true and range args I plus 1 I plus 2 equals 2. So maybe this checks for if they're both one distance from each other. Then the next step is gonna be to check if argxi is greater or lower than argxi plus 1. Because if it's lower, it means it's a negative range. So we should put, well, maybe it doesn't matter actually. Yeah, it doesn't matter because I'm gonna connect them the same way. I can just use string formatting. Maybe I can just print to see if it does what I think it does. I'm just gonna put a break here. And I can erase this. So maybe I have to turn this into an int. I'm not sure if that's gonna work. Maybe we can make L1 equals empty list. How is the solution from the other one? And the issue is if I make a for loop, then that's not that good actually. I forgot how they did the solution from the other one, but I remember they were doing a range and then putting that range into a set and then calculating the answer based on the length of the set. So I have to remember how to do the range thing. Because if I could put this range into this list and then calculate the length of the list, I would have the distance. And I don't necessarily want to put the numbers themselves into the list because that doesn't make sense. It has to be the range. And maybe it is the best way to do 2 different ranges and then sum them and calculate the length of the list. I think I'm gonna do that. Okay, I think it's working now. So let's see length. Oh, actually, it's not length that I want. Let me think. Because this is gonna start from this number and end on this one. But what if it's minus? Yeah, I think it's the same thing. Goes one by one. So it returns the number in the range from this number to this number. So this is supposed to be true, but this is gonna be true as well. So if the length is 4, because I'm adding them together. Let's see. I think I can do this. So if the length is 4, it means that it's a range that I want. And if it's not 4, then it's another formatting. And it's gonna be like this. No, actually, yeah, I think that's the right formatting. And then else result plus equals. Oh, actually, I should probably put a comma here. I'll figure out later. I'm gonna put it for now. Maybe it's better in the end, actually. Yeah, but then I'm gonna have to strip this off at the end, I think. Yeah, I just realized that the issue of doing things like this is what if I have a case that is just like this where you can have two ranges, two numbers in between two different ranges. That's the issue. Because I'm checking them 3 by 3. Yeah, so this is gonna be more difficult than I thought. I think I have to change the logic here on this loop to make it work. So what I'm thinking now is how can I say whenever you find a range of 3, stop. That's I think that's probably the best logic. Just do a normal loop and then whenever. Yeah, but then that's the issue because you would have to put that range into the string after you found. Hmm. Think I'll be right back and get some. So maybe I can use the iter2 cycle here. I think what I wanna do is, the problem is if I check for the range while I loop through the thing. What if I just join the string? Maybe I can loop through the list and return the indexes where there is a range. And then I can use those indexes to create the concatenation that creates this string. I think that's a good idea. This challenge is the same thing with the other challenges. It's not actually that hard, I think, to solve it. But the biggest challenge is figuring out a way to find a solution that is good and not just any solution. Because I think most challenges you can probably solve fairly easy by creating a bunch of for loops and if statements, but the problem is which one is the best And don't want to get into the trap of just doing the first solution every time, because then you become inefficient on the long run. I think it's best to get into the habit of trying to figure out the best solution, or trying to use the things that you don't know, so you get used to using them, because there are always the inclination to do what you already know. So I'm thinking about using this cycle to get the ranges and return the index of each one. So maybe what I can do is use the iter2's cycle to find the index of the ranges. And then once I have that into a variable, I can do this for loop here. And then I can use this output to make the string formatting the final one based on the indexes that I'm gonna get from the iter2's cycle. Yeah, what happens if I do? I think I'm gonna save the solution here in case I wanna go back to this. Well, I have to import then, probably. Import. Or maybe I don't, I can just use iter2's.cycle. The cycle, and maybe I can use range. Yeah, but then how would I do it? Because it has to be on the list. Let me just do the cycle with the args and then loop through this to see what I get. The force, print sign, value, print value, break. Yes, so I have to import. -6, -3. So I think it's gonna return each element. But I wanted to do. Well, I can use this to get the range actually. Yeah, but then I still need to make 2 loops. Which is not useful. Because then I can just loop through the list itself. I don't need the cycle. I was thinking about how can I do the cycle, the range with the cycle. That's the thing. But maybe, yeah, it's possible that I'm overcomplicating this too much. Hmm. So this concatenates sequences. No, but it's a double. It's nested for loop. Hmm. Question is, yeah, I think it might be pointless to use this cycle. The more I think about it, because any way that I can use this seems like it's easier to use something else. You're more efficient as well. Maybe the best way is to do the loop and then the thing is that I need to see I need to get the it's not necessarily biggest problem is not necessarily broken down by three steps each time. It can be irregular. So how do I find the range in the list? I think I can do just the range. Put the range into a variable of three and then filter the list with map or something like that to return the indexes. Yeah, but this way I can't access the multiple numbers. I know there must be a way that this is gonna. You can probably find a way to solve it in one line. And all the ways that I can think about it, I'm gonna have to do a bunch of loops and if statements, and then I don't want to do that. I can just use the range between the first number and the last number because it's a range of three, and the number in the middle matters as well. So maybe the way that I was doing is best, but then I append to a different list the indexes of the numbers. So I append I to a different list, and then I use that list to create the formatting later, because I know the indexes that are gonna have ranges. But I'm trying to think about a better way to do this. Using the stuff that I not comfortable using. Zitters tool stuff, Ether tools, and but so far, from all the ways that I think about, it feels like I'm overcomplicating. Yeah, because there isn't any reason to use cycle or repeat. I think, at least from what I can think right now. So, but I might be missing something. That's the thing. Or maybe I can zip the list, just gonna separate them two by two. And then I can map. To see if the range is. Yeah, maybe that's a better way. I think I'm gonna search for this. But that's not what I want. I'm thinking about turning the list into tuples of. Maybe zip is not great as well. I can just do the tuple manually, let's say. Turning the list into this tuple here. And then mapping over it to see if the range of each one is equal to 2 or 1. Oh, it's either gonna be -1 or 1 actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, but if I use the minus sign, then it's a problem because it can be negative numbers and then it becomes a different distance when you calculate. Or maybe I can use absolute. Or I could just use absolute actually. Actually. Yeah, but then I can just use R maybe. Or maybe I am overcomplicating this too much. And the problem is the way it breaks down. That's the thing. I can't just do a normal for loop because then I miss the numbers that are in between different ranges. And it's not necessarily a multiple of 3. That's the issue with this approach. Maybe if I use their tools here. I'll be right back. I have to spend some time thinking because I wanna try to apply, at least try to apply the Ether tools stuff to solve this challenge. What I think I need to do is filter the string, get the indexes of the ranges inside of the args list. After that point, I think it's easy. You just use the indexes to create the format of the string, the final string. So what's the question I have? So how to find the range? Maybe I should look into this. I should find the range in a Python list. But that's not what I want. I don't think this does what I wanted to do. Maybe we can do the Ether tools product stuff. Let me see what it returns. I think I have to loop through it. It only works for. We can do range. So range string. It's not useful for anything, I think. Let me see what this returns. Uh, turtles, the cycle, zip, args, range, 3. It's gonna. I didn't break, so. It doesn't make any sense to do this, I think. Trying to think, how can I do all different uh, permutations, let's say, of 3. Maybe we can use filter and then the range. But the thing is, I can't do, because I'll have to do the range between two numbers at a time and not the three. Maybe this approach that I was doing is the best one. I can't think about anything else that can work. I can use this one to append to a different list and then do maybe zip and then calculate that range. But I think I'm gonna spend more time trying to figure out how to do it in a better way, more concise way. Because I can tell, I can sense that there's probably a way to do this. I'm trying to think about an algorithm to see any possible combination inside of the list of a range of three. And the issue with just looping is that I miss the values that are in between two different ranges. So how can I find a range of three inside the list and then take the indexes where those ranges happen? If I do range and then the length, because this gives, okay, so this gives three. Yeah, but then I can just use three. Doesn't matter. Hmm. There we go. Now maybe I can do the range for each element. Yeah, but the issue is that I still have the problem with the way that I'm breaking them down, because if I do range from 2 by 2, then I miss the ones that are in between. That's the issue. So what if I do, what do I get if I do Virtuous product V? If I do args here. It doesn't make any sense. Can I do this? If I do zip there, probably doesn't change anything. Here, this is the same thing. It has to be on the list, not the numbers. Or two lists. Maybe if I do if range equals 1. Yeah, But now I'm not getting anything. Maybe, what if I do 2 here? Oh, actually, forgot the range here. So why doesn't this work? Providing range. Oh, maybe length. Oh, but yeah, maybe length. Okay, I think I'm getting somewhere now. But maybe I should just put I here, and then I'm gonna have the indexes. Where the range begins. So I'm breaking down the list where I'm getting the indexes where there are 2 elements. They're connected by 1. So let me... Yeah, so the next step would be to loop after this list and then do something. I'm trying to think if there's a way to do instead of... Maybe I shouldn't do step by step here. 2 by 2. I'm not sure if I can do this. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, now I'm getting -3, -2, -2, -1. Yeah, let me think. It's sort of like a linked list, actually. There might be a way to solve this with a linked list. Because I'm thinking if the end of what a tuple is equal to the beginning of another one, then I can link them together. And then I can calculate the range based on that. The only issue with that is that I'm leaving out the other numbers that are not in the range. So this V is like the filter version of this list. for range differences that are equal to 1. But then I missed the other numbers here. Maybe we can just do else I. Let's see if this works. Yeah, that's the problem. If I can get it to if I can make it so that I have the number as well. On that list, then it might be possible. Because every time there's a number and it's not in a range, then that necessarily means that it's not gonna be included. Otherwise, it would be just at least one apart. But maybe this way is also doesn't make sense because actually it does, because it's starting from this number and going from this one. So this has to be equal to 1. Maybe we can put this one here. The problem is I have these two if statements. And if I put elif here, it probably doesn't change anything. Yeah. So it has the condition and then the if statement. Condition if. Then else. What's going on here? What? And for some reason, I think I pressed something. I think I pressed insert. And started erasing there. So this, if this, else I, if I, let's see, yeah. What if I put this in the end there? There we go. Nice. But why am I getting 0 there? I think I'm getting multiple of them. -3. The ranges are correct, but the I... Oh, it's because I'm getting the... I should get arcs I here. Let's see. Nice. Okay. I think I'm making progress now. So now what I have to check is if the beginning of a tuple is equal to the end of the tuple. If it is, then it means I have a range of 3. Huh. So now let's think about if there's a way to maybe use zip or something else. Yeah, the easiest way I can think about is checking to see if the element is a tuple or not. If it is a tuple, then I can do the check condition, because I know it's going to be a range. I can just do the string formatting, actually. But then I have to skip one. Because I'm going to be doing 2 times. So maybe I can do range again, and then I can just increase the value of the range to skip the next element once it is a tuple. Let me see if this works. Okay, so I should be live. It's gonna give me the same thing. So if I do it like this, I can just do L plus equals 1 once I hit the tuple. So I'm not sure if this way is better than the other ways I was approaching, but at least I forced myself to try to incorporate things that I'm not comfortable using. And I think it might be slightly better than the way that I was doing before. So I'm pretty happy with that. So if type VL post tuple prints, I can just copy here. Let's see if this works. Okay, nice. Yeah. I can just do different. So if it is a number, I'm just gonna do result plus equals, oops, and then VL. Else L plus 1. And this is gonna make you skip the next element. So don't repeat the thing. Hopefully this works. Just wanna print and see what I get. This index out of range. And because I'm still adding I'm still going over the range. Well, but actually, what if I do length v minus 1? Oh, it's because of this thing here. That's the problem. Oh, let's see. Works. Oh yeah, and I forgot that I'm actually getting the tuple, so I need to transform this into the other one. So oh, there's actually gonna be, so it's gonna be 0. Oh, but when it's a range, I just need then the beginning and the end of the thing. So maybe this should be inside the thing, like here. Yeah, that's the issue. How can I say this? Maybe I should make it equal to numbers before. Let me just print VL. Okay, I'm getting the tuple, so let's see VL 1, 0. So this works. So it's probably one of them that the condition here is not working. Oh, I get it. It's because I have a tuple and then after the tuple I have a number. That's the issue. Yeah, I forgot that I have to make the condition What happens when I have just one tuple surrounded by numbers? So both of them have to be tuples. I think this is easier, but still have to think about. I can just do a bunch of if-else statements, just see. Because in order for this formatting to work, I have to both of the current and the next one have to be tuples. So maybe we can do if type VL equals tuple and type VL plus 1 equals tuple. Then I do this formatting here. And else, maybe that's better, actually. Let's see. Okay, now it seems that it works. So if both of them are tuples, value 1 equals VL 0, value 2 equals 1. Let's see. And the issue is I'm still not handling when I have a tuple. In this case. I think it's gonna be just the first element. Because the next one's gonna be repeated, but I'm not really sure. Then I'll do this one. Let me see if this works. And we still have a tuple here. I think this part works, just have to think about this one. Or maybe it's because I'm skipping one here. But then let me take this off and see what happens. So I don't get why I'm getting this. So this condition is when it's either a number or a tuple that is not followed by another tuple. So when it's a tuple that is not followed by another tuple, what does that mean? That means because of the way that I did this, it means that the last number should be maybe it's because the first number should be the unique one, the last number should be the one that is repeated from this one. So which instances I'm getting the... Let me just return result here. It's probably not passing, but just wanna see. Also, I should probably take this off from the file, from the end string. Oh, I forgot the type here. That's probably why. Okay, at least now it's better. So I'm forgetting the comma here, probably. Let's see. Yeah, so maybe I need to put the comma on all of them. Not much better. Now I need to subtract. And there's a -1 here that is not supposed to be here. So maybe this needs to be increased by 2. Because I have the range here, and then I have -1, -2, -1. It's not supposed to go through these numbers here. But the rest seems to be fine. So what happens if I do this? I'm still getting the -2. So maybe it has to be because of this one. Oh, yeah, I think. Let me do 2 here, and let me do L plus equals 1. Because I'm getting the tuple. And it's still repeating. I don't know when there's some. So it's probably because of this. But I'm not sure. If I increase this number, or maybe this number doesn't matter because I'm changing and it's not doing anything. Sure. Oh, I have an idea. Yeah, but then it doesn't make sense. I was gonna create a variable and then make this step dependent on the variable and then change the variable. But then it changes the step forever and it's not what I want. I can readjust the value then in the next iteration, but I think the issue here is that adding or modifying this number is not modifying the steps. That's the problem. So how can I do this? Yeah, I think that's the only problem. If I can solve this one, then it's probably the right solution. Or the problem here is that I'm still... that's an issue as well that I didn't think about. Is that here seems that the range can be bigger than 3. That's a huge problem actually. But I still think I can solve it the same way. Maybe I can create a set and calculate the length that way. Maybe we can do a while loop. While type VL equals tuple. I could just increase the set and get the length. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. But the only issue is the ZAL here. That's the problem. Let me think. I think I'm gonna solve this off stream. But what I'm thinking about is I create this while loop here, and then the only issue is gonna be I have to change this step here in this range so it skips the next numbers. But then I'm thinking about creating a set range VL. Create another variable equals to the set of the length of this. A set might not be the best. Or maybe I can just sum the tuples. Equals plus. Yeah, that's the thing. But I can use this while loop to get the range from the beginning of the tuple to the end. And then I can use that to create the length of the string. And since I have the first number, which is going to be the first number of the first tuple, yeah, maybe I can just capture the first number and the last number of all the tuples. And then I can create the formatting based on that. And then the only question is how do I change this L value here so that once it gets out of this while loop, the value is adjusted. I think I'm gonna think about this off stream because it's already 2 hours, and then I might come back later today to keep. I'm gonna work on the other project, the Polygon stuff, extract data from decentralized exchanges. I decided to read this book again, the Keras stuff for machine learning, and write down Jupyter notebooks, the stuff that I have that they talk about on this book, and then I have another book to read. And I decided to do that because I think it's gonna be good to review the concepts in machine learning, because even though I understand how it works, I'm having trouble trying to think about what's the right way to set up the inputs for the models, for the machine learning models, because each problem is different and it's kind of complicated to think about what is the best input to get and what output exactly I'm getting from each model. So I have some situations where I want to put some inputs on a neural net, and just based on the math itself, I can figure out on my head what's the best structure, what kind of inputs to put and what output I want. But then the issue is that I want to get that output and connect to a different network. And I'm still not sure how to do that with the libraries, the sklearn and Keras, and how it works. Because it's hard to connect the way that the libraries are designed and the math underneath and the structure of the thing. And I'm having trouble with that. And then, yeah. Before I think I'm gonna do these 2 things simultaneously, read the book and type the stuff on Jupyter notebooks and continue the Kaggle competitions. But I think it's gonna be better to work on the Polygon stuff, decentralized exchanges, while I'm reading the books. And then eventually go back to the competitions once I feel like I understand a little bit more. So, because the biggest step, the biggest challenge in creating the machine learning models is on the data analysis part, or the features, how you decide which features to use and how you decide how to create different inputs to improve the score. I think that's the difference between high scores and low scores, is that high scores are able to create features in a way that it makes sense for the model to fit the data and create a function that is just generable enough and still has a high accuracy. And I'm only going to be able to do that if I understand better how the models work. So maybe I will study the source code as well. But I think for now I'm going to work on the Polygon stuff, getting data from decentralized exchanges when I come back. And I think I'm going to solve this off stream, the rest of this, and I'm going to post a solution on my YouTube channel like I did with the other ones. So see you then.